All right, what's going on, guys? We are back with another episode of the Jaxxon podcast. I'm sitting here with Twitch, and I'm sitting here with the one and only, the only man to ever race with no hand and then bring the hand back during the middle of a race, Shimoda!
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me here.
How you feeling?
Yeah, good. I'm in recovering, some gyms, and I guess we're doing the podcast.
Yeah. How's that hand feeling, dude?
Yeah, you know, it takes time. Like I broke it 3 weeks ago. Pitboard hitting my hand, and yeah, just trying to get the strength back. You know,
It was probably the worst way you could have hit a pit board in history.
Yeah.
It wasn't flat; it was just straight square edge. Like literally, it's like as thick as your computer, like that, and you just hit it right there.
Yeah, and the pitboard, you can break that stuff all day long
Easily. When it's up and down.
When it's up and down. But
Yeah.
it was sideways. You know.
How did it feel?
As soon as I hit, you know, it's funny because you have the adrenaline while riding. Like my hand, literally, I had no feeling from the wrist all the way to
Down.
my finger.
No way.
And I kind of wanted to finish the sprint lap so that I could get myself into the good gates.
Yeah, get a good
you know?
time.
So, I mean, San Diego, they had the triple to a quad. Like I basically hit that with like this 2 finger, just
That's
holding
so
it
gnarly.
like that. Like my hand will slip off on the whoop section. It was sketchy, but I mean, I had to, right?
Yeah.
And then as soon as I left the Q1, I guess, or 2, I went into the Alpine Star Medical and took an X-ray, and it was just smashed.
Did you have a feeling it was broke? Like,
Well, I could just feel it. It
Yeah.
was like,
I feel like being like an athlete, like you know when something's really hurt
Yeah.
on you. It's not like maybe. It's like, no, I know it's messed up.
yeah, like I pulled into mechanics area and said to my mechanic, we're fucked. Like,
Yeah,
we're
seriously.
literally fucked.
After just winning Anaheim 1, like you like that's what I was telling you before we even started. I'm like, you look so good on the bike this year. Like the bike looks like it's working great. And then you go out and win Anaheim 1, and then you go to the second round, and then that happens in qualifying. I'm like, we were all sitting there watching it on the TV, and I was like, dude, like this is Joe's year right now. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so we were super bummed for you. Like this sucks.
yeah, it was it's tough, you know, and motocross, but.
Whose mechanic was it?
Well, what I heard is Club MX mechanic.
Team Tactics. They're going for you. They're like, screw the Honda guy.
I don't think so, but no. But I mean, A2. I just actually went to the Club MX and told them like, dude, I get it, maybe because there's no rules for it, like you know.
Yeah.
There's no rules for mechanics area, so it's like. The people say it could be my fault going too close to the pit board.
You're using the track. You're trying to find traction. Like if that's where you have to go, that's where you have to go. Like I
Yeah.
feel like the mechanics should be the ones looking out.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's why I told him like if it was your fault, then probably not.
Just
you shouldn't-
apologize and own up to it and say sorry. Like
Yeah,
shit happens. Like you
Shit
get it.
happens. But I told him like it's okay. It's just an incident. Like
Yeah.
anybody could happen that night. It was so close. So I said, man, it sucks, but you're fine, man. Like just let it go.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Were they super upset?
Like the Honda.
Yeah, no, like that. The
club?
Yeah, the club.
Well, I think the guy who hit me he was really like
Probably-
sad.
Yeah, you probably felt bad.
yeah.
For sure.
So I get it, you know.
And it is gnarly. Like you guys do get close to that, but and every dude's just fighting for their rider to see their board, so
Yeah.
they're holding it out there as long as they possibly can. Like
Yeah.
yeah, and literally it was like as he was pulling it away, he twisted it and just caught your hand.
Yeah.
What'd you actually end up breaking?
So I broke my pinky, ring finger, and actually these 2 fingers were had a tiny fracture as well.
Yep.
But it was not a big deal. So basically 4 finger.
Yeah. There's some girls that like 4 fingers.
Hey, that's very respectable of you to go over there and tell them that it's just a mistake. That's cool. That's very nice of
Yeah.
you.
I like to keep good sportsmanship, you know. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think sports needs
I
it.
feel like that's like part of your culture. Same thing with like Taka and Wanky. Like they'll never talk bad about each other. If like someone's older than them, they're like, no, you have to respect your elders. Like it's just like a straight like respect thing. I feel like.
Yeah.
You grew up in Japan?
I grew up in Japan, yeah.
Till how old were you?
Till how old? So I moved here 10 years ago. Yeah. Full time here now.
Yeah, I remember when we used to always see you as like a little kid riding on Apollo and stuff, and we're always like, man, he looks slow because you're so smooth. But then you would see you pass someone on the track and he's going so fast. We're like, dude, like Shimoda's going to be bad when he goes pro. Like everyone always thought that.
Yeah, like I mean, it's funny. Like I always tell these stories, right? Like first time I came to US. We packed our motorcycle in a suitcase and then raced here like 10,
Yep.
for 10 days. That's how everything started.
So rad.
It's a crazy story. Yeah.
Taka does the same thing. Like when he builds new bikes here, like he'll take a bike with him to France and he'll do it in like 2 trips. If it's just him by himself, he'll go like motor, frame, suspension, and next time's like wheels, triple clamps, bars, like stuff like that. So that was how you came over the first time. You just packed the bike up and brought it over and raced.
Yeah, exactly.
What was your race? What'd you do?
So I came here for 10 days, practiced all week, and raced this race team called Gold Cup in Milestone. They had one over there. And yeah, I mean, I rode every single day. And honestly, like we don't have like a night rides, like a Paris race where they have a night ride. So we're riding the morning and night.
You were doing 2 days.
Like 2 days.
Yeah, make the most out of your trip, right?
Exactly. Like 10 days in a row. So it was a crazy trip.
how has the switch been from PC to Honda?
First year was difficult,
Was it?
And it's not only the motorcycle or the team. Like for me as Japanese, it's hard for me to communicate and like learn new people,
Yeah.
The things that was like natural or normal to me at the pro circuit wasn't at the Honda, so a lot of miscommunication during the year, but right now I'm in a good spot. Like I know everyone pretty well. Good relationship with my mechanic Ben.
That's awesome.
So solid.
Yeah, I always wondered, like, what's the moto industry? What's the community look like in Japan? Like, how did you even think that this is what you were going to do growing up in Japan?
So, so my dad, he loves like motorcycle, like outside activities, camping and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I grew up just being around like outside stuff, like camping, riding dirt bike, and yeah, we just started racing, and then that 10 days trip on US, we realized like there's a lot of more competition in here. And basically just that turned into, okay, let's move here and make a living out of dirt bike. And I kind of just stick with it. And now we're here,
And your dad too he's like a gnarly businessman, right?
He does my family business stuff over in Japan.
So I remember hearing stories like when you first went pro, he was flying back and forth like every week to watch you race and then go back home to work and then come back.
Yeah.
That's dedication right there. That's cool. Like you don't see a lot of support like that from some families,
Yeah, for sure. It's just like you said, I have my dad over in Japan. It's just my mom and my little sister and myself in US.
Yeah. It's cool. I remember hanging out with your mom and your sister a few times, like at hotels and stuff. And your mom's always been so cool. Like she's like the raddest lady.
No, she's been cool.
She likes to have fun, and she doesn't look like a mom. Like she looks young,
Yeah, a lot of energy.
She does. Like she looks really young. Like she acts young. Like she's super cool.
Yeah,
it's good. I mean, when you go pro, obviously there's a bunch of people in your camp, in your corner that are advocating for this. Who are some of the people that were pushing you to be like in 2019, like, yo, it's time to go pro?
I mean, it's a lot, like 2019. So I was, that's 4 years now. No, 6 years ago now.
Yeah.
And it's like the age of, 14, 15, 16, you start realize like, okay, I feel like I kind of have to make motocross successful because that's going to be my like full-time thing. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, like there's a lot of pressure in my back because I know there's so much investing behind me from my parents. I mean, they sacrifice everything for me, right? Like we're not even living together. Like we're normal families should be together, right? And there's always been a fight, like just mom, myself, my dad, like just trying to make best out of it. And there's some times like when I turned pro for first time, like I was not good enough to compete for top 3 or anything mm-hmm. like that. And it's like, what we gonna do? Like, we try to, like myself, I try to train even harder, and maybe that turned into like, okay, look, I'm too tired to make
too much pressure on yourself.
Yeah,
too.
like I did so many things, but just wasn't working.
Yeah,
and there's like a couple of years it was like that, and then one time like I finished top 3 on my podium and instantly like gained confidence.
It clicked like, okay,
And
I
it's
can
like,
be up here.
okay, I think I can make it, you know? And
Yeah.
from then, like, just steady improvements, you know, just sticking with it. And it's like I'm still searching for it too. So
I don't think that searching ever goes away. Like just
No,
watching your whole like amateur career over here, like when you signed with Geico and all those dudes, like just watching you, like you've always been so smooth, and it just seems like every time I would see you on the bike, you got a little bit better, and then I would see you 3-4 days a week out at Paula training with everyone too, just like moto after moto after moto. Like it's cool to see when someone puts in that much work and it actually like pays off.
Yeah, and also. Me and my mom had to figure out because my dad wasn't in the state.
Yeah.
So basically, like every time we'll practice as an amateur, like we had a trainer, but also will film like, I don't know, Ryan Dungey and Roxon. We watch the videos all day long compared to myself. And then me and my mom will go back and forth like, okay, what is he doing different? Like we study so much, you know, and yeah, it was crazy, to be honest.
It's funny because I remember when Taka first moved in with me, like when he first moved in with me, he didn't even know any English. Like he knew please and thank you, and that was it. And we would ride twice a day. We would ride in the morning, we'd ride in the afternoon. I would come out like after taking a shower, like after dinner, and go in the garage to just like check out my bike for the next day. And Taka would be in there on the stand practicing tricks. Like I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, we rode twice a day. He's like, more practice. Like he wanted to be so good that like he would just sit on his bike and visualize himself doing tricks all the time.
Yeah. I think that's part of Japanese cultures too. And then also like in Japan, we don't have like trainers or stuff like that. Like it's so different.
Yeah. And he kind of said the same thing. He's like, I need to make the most out of my time right now while I'm here. Cause when I go back home, it's completely different. Like you're out of like your element, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you look at like the community based off the moto industry in Japan versus the moto industry like in the US? Like the lifestyle is completely different. Like what do you think one of the biggest differences is?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure, you know, everyone takes it serious, but I think there's a lack of information in Japan. There's a lot more information in the United States to like be a better rider or even be a better athlete physically, just different approach. I mean, I came here like with all stock bike. And I mean, we go to the races, they have like a big wheels on the 85s. Like,
you're like, wait, what?
Like different pipe, like different engine. Like what is these people doing? You know? I mean, when you look at it, like you can't really explain like one thing that's different. It's like whole program is different. And we don't even ride during the week. I rode only Saturday, Sundays.
At the races?
Not even at the race, like just to practice.
Just to practice.
Yeah, I'll go to school Monday to Friday. So to me, that's like non-motocross, nothing. You just stay in school and then maybe go gym or whatever. And then Saturdays, Sundays are like just riding days. That's crazy. That's like, I thought that was normal. Yeah. So.
and then once you came over here, you realized,
like why?
There's little ass kids with trainers and like semis, you know what I mean? Like you see the kid with like a 650s outside their fifth wheel. You're like, wait, what?
What is like, what are these kids doing? Like, are they just riding dirt bike and go home? Or
they don't
like,
go to school. They're all homeschooled.
Exactly. So it's a lot different.
Did you graduate high school and stuff?
I did.
Yeah, you did.
No college, just high school.
Yeah. You don't need college. You got dirt bikes.
How does that work in the U.S., Twitch? Kind of walk through the audience on how the schooling and the system works for these young kids now that are coming up in the game that are turning pro at 15, 16, 17 or getting on a team at that level. Like what happens at school? What's happening right now?
Well, I feel like a lot of the kids, like they all start doing like the on-track series, like the homeschool stuff. But I feel like the one thing that, I don't know, I have never done it. I know some kids that have done it, but I feel like a lot of these kids lose their personality or their people skills when they're doing homeschool and it's just them and their parents all the time. It's like you're in like this little bubble and then you're on the motocross track. It's like I feel like when you're a kid that small, like you still need like your friends, like BMX bikes, like whatever it is, like going to school and like hanging out. Where I feel like some of these kids now, it's just their parents are just pushing motocross, motocross, motocross. But it's like there's actually a low percentage of people that actually can make a living at riding dirt bikes. It's like, yeah, you may be a phenomenal kid at 7, but what happens after you've broken all your bones and ACLs and then you don't even want to ride no more? But like, I feel like a lot of these parents are living through their kids, and you can see the kids that actually want to go and do it. And then you can see the kids whose parents are, their heart's more in it than the child is, you know? It's a sad thing, but it's like, it is what it is. I guess you're going to do whatever you can for your kid to give them whatever they want. But sometimes it's like, you should probably listen to your kid of what your kid actually wants.
Like, for example, in 2020, right? Rookie of the year. That's when you, yeah. So. Like you become this like more notable rider, right? Everybody obviously knows you're about to do damage. You get the accolades you need. Does that focus then going into the next year cause you more pressure, or does it give you more edge to feel like, how does your mindset work?
Yeah, I mean, to have that Rookie of the Year was cool. But it's like nothing to do with my personal pressure. And also, I feel the personal pressure, I feel like differently than other people. Like you know, when you have a faster rider or a rivalry like around you, people get nervous about that. But for me, more like I get nervous about like I have to perform at my 100%, you know? It's like, I don't have time to think about other riders. It's like, if I don't, like first thing, if you don't perform it, you're not going to do well. So my pressure has been like, okay, like how do I like bring myself, you know, 100% into these races? That's the pressure to me. So there's multiple times like there's a lot of people been asking me like why what makes you nervous, but I just always say the same answer.
Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah.
I mean, and to talk about that, Twitch, because you actually bring a good point, like these characters, the personalities, like the ability for these racers at the young age to have their own kind of persona. We see in like X Games and freestyle, it was all about persona. Your style is kind of what made you on the bike, but then off the bike, everybody knew who you were.
Yeah.
Do you feel like Supercross and motocross has that right now, though?
Yeah, I feel like motocross. I feel like Supercross is thriving. Like you can see it from the ticket sales. Like you see Moto everywhere, and everyone's going. And for me, like I don't think the sport's ever going to quit growing because there's always young kids coming up. Like I feel like now like you're getting more personality. There was a few years there where it felt kind of stale, where everyone would just read off all their sponsors and give their thumbs up and leave, you know what I mean? But now you're starting to actually see personality. And I feel like too, like with YouTube and Instagram, like you can actually get to know somebody now. Like before, it was hard to connect with a rider that you like. You never knew like what they were doing. Cause sometimes you see them on the podium and they're so serious and it looks like they're not enjoying themselves riding. But then you see stuff that they post on Instagram. You're like, oh, that was just a normal work day for him. Like he can't have a smile on his face. He has to not like you because if he takes you out, he doesn't want to have feelings about, oh, I'm sorry for doing that. You know what I mean? So I feel like nowadays, I feel like that's why the fans connect so much more with all the riders.
What riders like Joe and this elite level of riding that we're seeing, like we also see a guy like Hayden, like we see these crazy rivalries that Supercross is kind of like, I would say promoting in a way, right? It seems like the audience promotes it, but then Supercross promotes it. And then it becomes more this thing where it's more than just your performance on a bike. It's also how good you talk on a mic. Do you feel like that's where Supercross is going to eventually go, where it's more of a character persona, is like this WWE feel?
I feel like it's always been there. I just feel like you have younger kids coming up now that don't really care. They're just like there to prove a point. Like, hey, I'm better than you, you know, like, and I'm going to do whatever I have to do. If I have to talk shit and get in your head, if that works, then I'll do that too, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
but that's what I like about Joe. He's just the quiet assassin over here, dude.
That's
like,
what I'm saying. Like,
he just does his own thing and worries about himself, and I feel like that's the best thing you can do.
But does it work for guys like Joe? And I honestly ask this because I know Twitch knows, and it's cool to kind of get feedback. Does it work for a guy like him because you see how respected he is, like how I would say honorable is the word. Like he's very true to himself. He's not putting on a front, very genuine. So is it easier for a guy like that to be a little bit less quiet because you know everything he says is coming from a good place?
Well, yeah, and he's still adapting to the culture over here. Like, yeah, he's been here for what, 10 years? But it's not easy. Like if I had to go to Japan and like learn a whole new language and like, You know what I mean? Like he would be around all his people. I'm there by myself with like my mom and my sister. You know what I mean? So it's like it's definitely different for him, I feel like, but he's doing a great job at what he's doing.
Yeah, like we see you in here with Joe Cancelleri, one of our Jaxxon head coaches who helps train all of our athletes. Like, what do you feel is the biggest difference in terms of like the lifestyle that you live now compared to what you thought it was going to be with motocross?
What do you mean, like?
Like just the way, like I see you in the gym early in here. I see you completely focused on your passion and your craft, which is riding. But did you feel like this is the lifestyle you were going to be living?
No, I mean, honestly, like you said, like the moment I went pro, oh my God, it was the first year was terrible. Like it was terrible. I honestly didn't even want to ride dirt bike.
You didn't.
So, and yeah, I mean now, you know, when you're starting to be good at it, you know, maybe win some races here and there, and it's fun. I feel like I enjoy it a lot more, and I even enjoy it just, you know, for me, talking better with other people.
Yeah. Understanding more.
I enjoy a lot my life.
I've seen a huge change in your personality. I feel like the last 3 years, like your last year at PC, like you kind of like opened up and like you can be yourself now. Like you don't care if people like you or if they do. It's like you're just going to be yourself.
Yeah.
So I like it. I like little videos you post on Instagram with music and like dancing and stuff like that, like in your gear, just showing all your kits. Like I think it's dope. It shows like a side of you that not a lot of people get to see.
Yeah, it's cool.
I feel that like there is a lot of prep that goes into race day, right? Like I went to A1 and you could see, I mean, for the audience that doesn't go to these events, I mean, you have a massive little mini army behind you guys just for one guy to go on a bike, similar to like MMA, right? MMA has a head coach and a kicking coach and a trainer and a nutritionist, but you guys have mechanics and drivers and semis, and you have a massive arena waiting for you guys to perform. Do you ever feel like the pressure of having all this team behind you, but then you're the only one that gets to race, it adds up right before the race?
I mean, yeah, you know, you can get nervous on that, but yeah, like I said, like at the end of the day, like whatever you do, you're racing for yourself, you know, you're racing for yourself. Like, so I don't really feel pressure from other people, just mostly myself.
When I got a question about your bike, like when you went over to Honda, did you start with like just a base setting or did they start you on like Hunter's last setting or anything like that?
So it was, what I got told was Hunter's base setup. So
how'd you like it right away or did you make a lot of changes?
Well, I kind of wanted, well, it's a successful bike. Like they've been winning, they've been, you know, really like just successful, like championship and stuff. So I told myself like, okay, I think I should just, you know, get used to the bike instead of bike adjusting me. But as the year goes on, I had to change so many things. Because it was just not that easy. Yeah.
That's like that alone always trips me out. Like when Twitch is talking about working on his bike or, you know, because mine's just sitting here because all I do is crash. Obviously, I'm not an elite level racer, but even listening to Jet and Hunter and they're on Honda, like there's so much prep that goes into a bike. And then there's testing and then there's so much maintenance and mechanics and the issues that go into these and these fine tuning. Can you kind of walk me through what it looks like to kind of prep a bike for a race?
So what I learned, well, on the pro circuit days, it was different. Like I had Ivan Tedesco as the test rider. So I'll choose from like 3 different options. But Honda, is the way they do it is different. They're more like, welcome to the team. Okay, what do you want to, like, what do you want to do with the bike?
They didn't have options for you. It's like, what do you want?
What do I want? So I'm like, what do I want? You know,
I'm not used to that.
I'm not used to it. There's this like, you know, 18, 19, 20, those young age riders, like, I don't think there's not too many people that like testing the bike, you know, like,
you just ride it. You just figure it out.
And that's what I was doing. So I went to Honda and I struggled because so I can feel like there's something is missing on the bike, but what's the option to fix that?
Yeah. And they're expecting you to tell them.
Exactly.
And I feel like that's where you said you had the problem with your communication to them for the bike.
That was the hardest part of making the bike good last year. But I mean, nowadays, I mean, I would, because I have to remember all these things, I would memo everything what happened. On a
You would
test
write all
day.
your notes down?
Test day from practice, like lap times and stuff. When I go to the races, each session, I just memo everything. So just to have a data on my phone or note, and then I'll look at back if I need to change. That's like similar feeling from, okay, let's say last year's Anaheim 2. What did I did there?
Yeah.
I just look up back to my notes and said, okay, this is what I'm feeling, and I just bring that.
So good. Wow. I love that. And I feel like that's like how a lot of like short course off-road racing was. Like you would write down tire pressure, temperature outside,
Yeah.
if it's raining or not, you know what I mean? Like everything. And then you could always go back to that base setting the next year when you get to that track, if it's similar, or like you said, like, oh, this track feels just like the test track. Let's do this setting, you know?
Yeah.
So
that's crazy. I mean, the level of maintenance and kind of like back end that goes into these bikes being ready, Twitch, you probably know better than anyone, even on your side, like on the freestyle side. How much maintenance, how much teamwork do you have to have a bike ready to go for an event?
my bike's easy. My bike don't get dirty really. You know, their bikes get hammered every weekend. Their bikes, their race mechanics are tearing their bikes down after every single round, like framing the whole thing, re-greasing it, like just going through, because you can't have any mess ups. Like where our bikes, like we don't ride them enough like these guys do. So yeah, my bike's always dialed.
But like, is it important to have a mechanic that you trust or a guy that you kind of work with, like the same one?
I feel like it's really good to have like
100%.
that. Yeah. You guys have to vibe together and like that dude is in your corner the whole day, making sure you have everything you need and trying to keep you in a positive mental attitude.
Yeah.
I feel like that's your guy for the day. Like, let's go. Even if you look like shit, he's like, hey, you look good. Let's go faster. You know what I mean? Like they have to be there to pump you up the whole day.
You know, I have a funny story. So my mechanic, he's from England. Mm-hmm. So he has that like an accent, right? Like the very, very first day. And I explained to you guys, like my communication is not that good. Like I can barely hear English, right? Like,
yeah.
The very first day I rode and he's like, hey, Joe, you want to change the lever? I'm like, what is lever? Like, it's a lever.
Yeah,
it's a different.
But
accent.
the way they pronounce it,
I'm like, at that moment, I'm like, okay, this is gonna be a tough year. No, there's so many stories like that.
Yeah.
Just different slang words they have for certain parts and stuff.
Yeah,
that's so funny.
Before, obviously, they got hurt. Are you interacting with the Lawrence brothers a lot on the team? Like, do you guys all work as a unit, or is it mainly kind of like separated?
So. They help me out with a lot of stuff, but mostly because 250 and 450 sides are they're a little separated. So, I mean, yeah, 250 side just kind of do its thing, and 450s are different. So, not too much of like a teamwork to make overall team better. More 250 and 450.
Are you riding with them guys now that you're based out in Florida?
No, I'm actually in Sandbox.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Jason Baker's spot.
Yeah.
Nice. How you like it over there?
I love it so much.
It's cool.
Yeah, Florida is so nice.
So you got a lot of good dudes over there to ride with too.
Yeah. A couple pro riders riding, and I get to practice with them. So
that's rad. Roxon's out there. Is Kitchen still out there too?
Yeah.
That's cool. I feel like I see Kitchen and Roxon starting to like have fun when they're done riding now too, like play riding and like messing around.
Yeah.
You join in any of that, or are you just all business?
I feel like I'm a type of person just in and out. You know? In and out. Yeah.
Go get your job done and get out of there. Go on for the rest of the day. You golf or anything?
I golf sometimes. Now I started living in Florida, so I play golf. Yeah.
Find Joe Shimoda at the country club,
Yeah,
just laying by the pool. Just
What are you doing when you're not racing?
I mean, golf. Like I like video games sometimes.
What do you play? Call of Duty?
Call of Duty. You know the racing simulator?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I love doing that.
I just got one too. Like I'll be like, hey babe, I'll be in 30 minutes. Like 3 hours goes by and you're still just stuck on the simulator. Like,
oh, really?
It's so fun.
You put one in your barn?
I have one in the shop.
that big shop?
Sick one.
This guy built like a massive building in his backyard. Have you seen
Like,
this?
really?
I got the screens that like wrap around you and stuff.
He's got a bar, a gym, 2 stories. It's like an ultimate playground. Put it in his backyard.
I never want to leave my house. I always want to be at home, so I got to make cool shit there.
That's my goal. I want to have like a setup that goes around.
Yeah.
Like, I just sit there, you know.
Hit up the guys from Podium One, dude. They'll probably hook you up.
Is that what the game is called?
I've been talking to those guys. They're their simulators are some of the best ones on the market.
Podium one.
How much are Podium 1 simulators?
Oh, dude, they're pricey. Like you could get. I seen one the other day. I don't know if it was a Podium 1 or what it was, but it had like a short course truck on it, and the whole simulator is moving. They said that's what a $70,000 simulator looks like.
No, I'm good.
I'm like,
I'm good.
no,
good.
but like the good one that I have is like 15 grand.
But it's nice.
Oh, they're so dope.
I
like
see you
they're
playing it
so
every
fun.
day.
Yeah, you can do rally car, you can do Indy car,
so-
like you can
so
do
sick.
you can fly helicopters on them, like you can do all kinds of different stuff.
One thing I wanted to ask you is like growing up, who are some of your favorite riders that you look towards and look to for like the style, the feel, the inspiration to be a racer?
Justin Barsha.
Yeah, but you're not an asshole.
Well,
We got to get Barsha in here too. Everyone always has something to say about him. I want to get Barsha in here. for
Why
sure.
is that?
He just doesn't care. He just rides his dirt bike how he wants to ride his dirt bike. And if you're in his way, he's going to make sure you get out of his way.
yeah, since I'm young, it's always been Justin.
Yeah.
Like
Really?
I didn't have any like the athlete that I looked up to, but I mean Justin, it's fun to watch. Like
Yeah, he is.
I mean any position he's in, like he's fighting.
Yeah, like it's the
Like,
end of it's his last
crazy.
race he'll ever do. Like he's going to show you what he has on the line that night. Like I love Barsha. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, we hear a lot about him from everybody, and I've been sending him Jaxxon chains for a few years now. He's always been cool. We definitely need to get him on here.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I love him.
Outside of your style and the way you ride, who's someone that you like in the game right now, like in your division, in your class?
250,
Yeah.
250 riders. See, I like the guys with the styles, you know. I never thought about this. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Well, Kitchen seems to be fun. Like,
Yeah.
he's pretty cool. Like, he has a style. and-
Yeah. That's cool.
Lately in the Jaxxon podcast and our Discord, we've been asking people questions and what they want. And a lot of people wanted to know from Jet and Hunter on the last podcast. They're like, why didn't you ask them if there was a rule they could change in Supercross? What would they change? So I'm going to ask you, if there was a rule in Supercross that you could change, what would that rule be?
Any rules
Any
in
rule.
Supercross? Any rules, right?
Yeah.
Shoot, I know there's one that I always want to change. Oh yeah, you know, so so this might sound crazy. I know everyone knows me as a bad starter, right? I wish there's a rule. Maybe we do like a MotoGP style starting based on lap time.
Yep. That would be cool. That'd be something different.
Is there a reason why you feel like you have bad starts?
I think I'm too aggressive with it. Too aggressive with
It
it.
is true because you always have to come through the pack when
Yeah.
when you're like when you're racing a lot, you know.
Yeah, I always have the same problem. Like I want it so much. Like it honestly.
It's like you overthink it.
Well, I'm like I want to start like good. I think too much, and I get not angry, but just like wide open, dump the clutch every time. I'm like, what am I doing? You know,
Practice starts will be fine all day, and then you get to the
I
races and they're
want it
just horrible.
Too much, and just like
I like this.
I do.
I like
I
seeing
know.
this side
I
of
love
you.
it. It's
You're very
awesome.
serious when you work out. Like I try not to bother you. My dad walks in here this morning. It's like 7 a.m. He's telling him, "You're a gladiator, bro. You're a Japanese gladiator. The way you're riding with one hand." This guy's like, "Thank you." Very serious.
Thank you.
And then you come on here, we see a good side of you. It's cool that the audience gets to see that.
yeah, on and off. You know?
Yeah.
It's in and out, on and off.
On and off, in and
love
out.
it.
What?
When did you finally start getting tattooed? You went below the sleeve too, dude.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
2 years ago?
1 year ago. Yeah.
Are you allowed to have tattoos in Japan?
He's in
mean-
America.
Oh, I guess.
Yeah, I'm 22. I moved here 10 years ago. I'm
Yeah.
like 50-50.
You make your own money. You can
I
handle
love
it.
that.
Yeah,
I'm
just, you know,
22. Come
Yeah.
get some.
What were your parents? Did your parents say anything when you first started getting them?
Well,
I could see Dad saying something.
Yeah, my dad doesn't like it. My mom doesn't like. My grandma doesn't like it, and I'm like, I'm still getting it.
I like it.
That's a little rebellion coming from the American side of you now.
Yeah, I always liked the tattoo. I always like good like motocross. You can change gear every single weekend.
Yeah.
Like good like colored clothes and stuff like that. So
Different style.
yeah.
Your kits have been looking pretty fresh lately.
They're good. Fox
Yeah.
doing it good. You know?
Their new boot looks good too.
Yeah.
All of it looks really good.
I'm into it.
That's
I'm
rad.
into it.
Who helps you design all those kits at Fox, or is it just their design team brings it to you?
So sometime there's a one, two, three sets a year. Like I can choose colorways or design, but yeah, mostly they just do it. You know, they got a good designer.
Yeah, they always have.
Yeah.
I feel like with Fox and Shift for the longest time, they had like some of the best looking gear out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of gear sets that these companies
A
have to
lot.
make.
Do you think these dudes are doing something different every single weekend?
Yeah.
For the whole year.
That's a lot. I just thought about that.
Yeah.
Damn. From a production standpoint, that must be crazy for these brands.
Have you been doing a bunch of physical therapy like on your hand and stuff like that? Or
Yeah, I've been just doing a lot of therapy, Dr. G.
yeah, that's perfect. Right down the street right
yeah.
here.
So just more stress on my finger.
Yeah, right.
Good to go. I like it.
From a mental standpoint, because you seem like a very well-spoken professional and you treat yourself as a professional athlete. Is there something that you do special on race days, mentally, nutrition, your routine? Is there anything special that you do that people wouldn't expect?
You know what? I actually that's opposite. I do more in the practice, think a lot, and race day. Honestly, like I try not to think. I feel like I just let everything go. You know, like you do, because I take it as like you do all the work and during the week, off season, and the race you can't really do much. You know,
You just go do what you know how to do.
yeah, like you just stay the same, like as the practice, like same as practice days. I feel like I treat the race same way every single weekend and not doing anything special, to be honest.
Yeah.
So
Are you excited about your break? Are you ready to get back to racing?
I'm excited about, I mean,
Just
to
sucks
go-
with the hand.
yeah, I want to race. I like racing, but it sucks, you know, because I can't really grip. So
Yeah. Are you still riding a decent amount during the week or no?
no riding.
No riding, just-
no, I haven't ride from San Diego.
Yeah.
So
That's cool because when you get back on the bike, you'll really want to ride.
yeah, weekend warrior.
Yeah. I like it. Weekend warrior.
Yeah. the last thing I have for you, just on a personal note, is like, is there any personal goals or future goals that you want for yourself as a professional racer on the bike and off the bike?
Yes, I do. You know, the first thing is to be successful on dirt bike, and you know, I want a championship. You know, I want to win more races, but also I don't want to be a boring championship, like boring motocross rider.
Yep.
Like there's, I mean, a lot of skateboard people, like or like surfers, or you know, they have sick lifestyle, sick Instagram content.
They have
like,
fun all the time.
Yeah, like people think like,
Just come hang out with us, Joe.
yeah, like they look normal during,
Yeah.
during the day, like normal week.
Just doing their thing.
Doing thing. But once they do their thing,
They're serious and they
Yes.
go and kill it.
yeah, like
Yeah.
So you want a good balance.
yeah, like two different personalities, you know.
Nice.
love it.
And I love that.
That makes sense. So
Fun during the week, business on the weekend.
Yeah, yeah.
most athletes, you know, because we deal with a lot of athletes. I've been working with athletes for the last 10 years. They don't have that perception, though. I've never really heard someone say it like that.
A lot of people want to be secretive about all their stuff that they're doing, or they don't want
Yeah.
their sponsors to see it. Where it's like, I feel like now with this time, it's like it's more acceptable to have your own personality and be yourself when you're not at the races. You know what I mean? And then you're getting paid to do something. You do that on the weekends, but you also work during the week, but you also like to have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and it's good that you're able to be aware of that, because that's what also gives you that North Star to figure out how you are going to balance sponsorships and brands and your persona on and off the bike. Most people don't even have the conscious whereabouts to figure that out.
That's
So
perfect.
you're
I like
ready.
that.
You're already halfway there, brother.
Get it, Joe.
Yeah.
Trying to do my
I
thing,
appreciate you coming on. I know Twitch was
thank
hitting you
you.
up. I've been asking Joe to hit you up all month. Joe's like, he's one of my clients. I don't want to mix and mingle. You know, Joe's very, I go, Joe, man, you might lose a job if you don't get this kind of podcast. But Joe Cancelleri is an amazing dude. He's been here since day one, helping me navigate this space as well. Him and Twitch have been phenomenal on that. So I'm glad to see you guys with him. What does he do for you exactly, besides walk around trying to look like a model?
Well, he's just, you know, because I used to train with him like a couple years ago, and I wanted to get back in his program, just off the bike, physical stuff, and he also does a riding schedule for me just to track like how much I'm riding during the week. But really grateful. Like
Right now, it's 0.
right now,
He must be tracking a lot right now, huh?
yeah.
Just going through pen and paper with all that tracking.
Oh, man.
No, he's good. He's always in here. He talks very highly of you, so I could tell he has a lot of respect for you, and I could see why. You're very well spoken and
Yeah.
very humble.
Yeah,
So
no.
I wish you all the best, all the success. We know you're going to crush it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's get some more of them dubs this year.
Yeah,
we
for sure.
enjoy watching you in here as well at the Jaxxon Media House.
Thank you.
Twitch, I appreciate you coming on. I know you have some big news you wanted to talk about with your brand DBK and Fly.
No,
You don't want to talk about it?
they'll figure it out.
I love it. See, and that's why we love Twitch. You see that? Twitch is very few are like this guy.
Yeah.
Very few. And we gave you our brand new JX1, our new watch from Jaxxon. So hopefully you love that. It has the new scratch-proof sapphire crystal. We appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you guys subscribe to this page, Jaxxon Sports Show. We're going to be dropping a brand new Jaxxon Sports podcast on this Jaxxon Sports Show every week, plus tons of old content and new content, plus behind the scenes. We're going to be going to Twitch's house soon to figure out how I can learn how to wheelie and jump. I got to jump like a 20-foot ramp.
He can't
doing
even,
it.
He can't even let a clutch out without stalling the bike.
Oh,
No, I can, but it falls and the bike turns off. It's not my fault. He put a kill switch on my bike. So if I don't do it perfectly, the bike just stalls. It's not me, it's him. But make sure you guys check it in, subscribe, leave a comment, let us know who you guys want to see next. We're out.